This video is brought to you by CoolstuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena we are playing Black-White Doom Foretold. Yep, Doom Foretold has been off my menu for a little while now. No particular reason, I guess I just played a lot of it really early in the meta. I had an Esper Doom deck that I played a lot at the end of the last Mythic season on Ranked. Got a little burnt out, I guess, but we're back. You know, everything comes full circle in Magic. That card that you were sick of becomes nostalgic eventually. And this Black-White list is all about getting Doom Foretold to make the opponent absolutely miserable. If you haven't seen this card before, at the beginning of each player's upkeep, they sacrifice a non-land, non-token permanent. If they can't, they have to discard a card, lose 2 life, draw a card, and gain 2 life. You create a 2/2 Knight token of vigilance and sacrifice Doom Foretold. It's an interesting card with a lot of play to it, and people often make mistakes against it because it does pretty weird stuff. People are used to it by now, but the fact that you can't sack tokens usually throws people for a loop. New players read this and they're afraid that they're going to end up losing 2 life and discarding a card, but that's not really how it works, because if the Doom Foretold ability is going off, you have to sacrifice Doom Foretold. So you usually sacrifice Doom Foretold to itself and nothing bad happens to you. So the deck is built around having things that are not too bad to sacrifice to Doom Foretold. So let's start from the top. Birth of Meletis. This is an interesting one, because while it's a very good turn 2 play, if you play it on turn 3, you usually have it to sack to Doom Foretold. You can do it that way too if you play it turn 2, actually. But yeah, since the chapters go off after the draw step and Doom Foretold goes off in the upkeep, Birth of Meletis is a really good card to play, get your basic planes, and then eventually sacrifice to Doom Foretold before it expires on Chapter 3. It also keeps you alive and lets you hit land drops, and lets us play a lower land count. By lower, I mean 24, still plenty, but not 26 that I would usually want in a control deck. Agonizing Remorse, target opponent reveals their hand, grab a card from it, exile the card. This is just to put pressure on them to play out their good cards rather than paste their threats against you, which is good strategy against Doom Foretold itself. But if you can take them straight out of their hand when they're holding something back, Agonizing Remorse is very, very helpful. Final Payment. This has a few uses in the deck, sacrificing a creature or enchantment or paying 5 life to destroy target creature. You can sacrifice that wall from Birth of Meletis. You can also sacrifice the Birth of Meletis before it hits Chapter 3, and you can sacrifice Treacherous Blessing, which when it enters the battlefield draws 3 cards. Whenever you cast a spell, you lose life. That's bad. Whenever it becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. Usually what we're doing here is sacrificing the blessing to the Final Payment or the Doom Foretold itself, or there is another way that we'll get to that we can get rid of it. Oath of Kaya leaves a card on the battlefield and does 3 damage and gains you 3 life. It's great to sacrifice to Doom Foretold and keep you alive. It's good against red. Elspeth Summons Nemesis is my escape card in the deck, tossed in there to come back in out of the graveyard, make some use of our graveyard, and put some pressure on the opponent. Although gaining life with this card is pretty common in this deck, as staying alive is very important, as well as offsetting Treacherous Blessing if it is stuck out there for a turn or 2. Then there's Doom Foretold itself, which we talked about. Kaya's Wrath. If you blow up all the creatures, Doom Foretold is certain to hit the card like the Witch's Oven or the Fires of Invention that the creatures are trying to protect. So nuking the board is a good way to also keep Doom Foretold working. And then we have the 8 5-drops, 4 Cavaliers of Dawn and 4 Elspeth Conquers Death. I'll mention them together because they can be a combo. Cavalier of Dawn getting back Elspeth Conquers Death over and over is a beating, but there are other enchantments to get back as well, such as Doom Foretold, Treacherous Blessing, and the Birth of Meletis, making Cavalier of Dawn in this deck very good. Its ability can target Treacherous Blessing. You won't get the 3/3 if you do. The ability will sacrifice the blessing, and then you don't get the 3/3. But you can get rid of your own blessing if you really want to by targeting it. You can blow up your opponent's stuff, and then they can't sacrifice it to Doom Foretold. That's pretty good. And you can always target your own things that you're not using, such as your 0/4 walls or your Oath of Kaya, and turn those into 3/3 creatures to put the pressure on the opponent. And then this card is just nuts. I started putting 4 in more and more of my deck. When I do update my crafting guide and go over what I got right and wrong about the set, I don't think there's anything I got more wrong than this card, but it is a very good card and a key interaction point of the format where Every time you play this and remove something, you're getting ahead. And every time it hits chapter 3 and you get something back, you're getting even further ahead. When you get back Cavalier of Dawn, and then it can keep getting back Elspeth Conqueror's Death, if the opponent can't somehow break it up, probably with their own Elspeth Conqueror's Death, they are in big trouble. The mana base doesn't have a lot of flash. 2 castles of each color, 1 Fabled Passage, 4 Temple of Silence, and 24 total lands. That's a good introduction to the deck, I hope. Let's dive in. Let the nonsense begin. We're going to go back to standard event. I took a break from a few days. I'm curious to see if there's still all red decks or not. There's nothing wrong with trying out the other formats on MTG Arena whenever you get burnt out on anything. I encourage it. There's nothing wrong with playing in play. There's nothing wrong with playing in ranked. It's not my preferred way to play. I really love events for YouTube videos specifically. And let's go see if it's still a wash in red or if we get some variety and a good time. Let's go find out. Game 1, tons of fun. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Dr. Tubo, what have you got for us, Mr. Ajani Boy? Our hand is good. We're on the draw, but we have Kaya's Wrath, we have Treacherous Blessing, we have Agonizing Remorse, we have a Scryland. We'll probably have to shock this Godless Shrine, but that should be okay, right? Right? Final Payment can sacrifice the Blessing if we can wait that long. Let's give it a shot. Stomping Ground. Could be a lot of things. Do I want one of those this early? Seems a little bit early for this card. It's very powerful, though. I'll probably hit my land drops thanks to Treacherous Blessing. I think we can keep this strong card. Our hand is very reactive. It doesn't have much strength of its own. So Cavalier of Dawn can add that. Here comes Paradise Druid. Let's shock out our Godless Shrine, because this would enter tapped. This is not a swamp. And play Agonizing Remorse. And what do you got? Food. Kind of. Looks like Jund Control, actually. So, we're going to have trouble. This can come down next turn. This can't come down for a few turns. This has to be dealt with. I guess Cavalier of Dawn can do that. This I can tag with a Final Payment. So I think that what we're taking is the Midnight Reaper. It's the thing that's going to come down the soonest and cause us issues. The opponent's current hand can't even play anything next turn. So making them take a turn off while we cast Blessing sounds really nice. Alright, they go with the Goose. Goose Gamer. Doom Foretold. Yep. To the Blessing. The Blasting! Some of you, like, who really get that reference, I love you. I appreciate you so much. Let's discard the Swamp. This can get us a plane so we have the right mana for our Cavaliers. So do we see Corvold? It's really early for Corvold. We have the Kaya's Wrath. Alright, boom. What are you going to sacrifice? Probably your Goose? Yep. Goose Gamer consumed. Elspeth Conqueror's Death. That can tag the Vraska. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and nuke the board. Boom. It leaves our opponents so low on resources. They haven't been drawing lands. They've missed their last 2 land drops. There's one. Or was it 1? It might have been 1 land drop. Here's Vraska. Don't eat your land. Yeah, you don't want to lose those. Okay. Let's bring out Elspeth Conqueror's Death. We don't have... So what I should have done a turn ago is I wasn't thinking ahead enough, but instead of discarding the Swamp, I could have discarded a Cavalier of Dawn to get back with Elspeth Conqueror's Death. As it is, I may still be able to do something with it, because I can play a Cavalier, then sacrifice it to Final Payment with Chapter 3 on the stack. So we're not done yet. Opponent checks my graveyard. They're also like, is there anything they're getting back? No, there's nothing they're getting back. Fabled Passage. I'm guessing a swamp? Rotting Regisaur. It's a dinosaur. Okay, so we want to get this in the graveyard. If we play it now and take out the Regisaur, we could also take out our own Treacherous Blessing to have 2 good blockers. If our opponent had an Embercleave, that would be an ouch, but they can't really cast it because of Elspeth Conquers Death's trigger. So, let's do it. We can target this and get rid of it, and then block and get back the Treacherous Blessing. Okay. That's pretty solid. And then get back the Cavalier of Dawn with the Elspeth Conquers Death. It's so brutal. Yeah, they check the graveyard. They're like, wait, if I attack, my opponent gets 3 free cards. So I can't even attack. Oh, I'm going to do it anyway. All right. All right. Oh, if they have an Embercleave. And you see the oops. Elspeth Conquers Death says you don't get to play it. That's probably a sign of an Embercleave in their hand. Jund, Ritual of Soot, Corvold, Faker's King, Embercleave. So, oh, okay. They don't have an Embercleave. They had a Bone Crusher Giant, I think. No? That still wouldn't make sense. Yeah, whatever. All right, now we'll turn you into a... Now we'll turn you into a baby. For my next trick, what will I do? I can play the Blessing and still have mana open for final payment. It's pretty epic. Yeah, I think that's it. Actually, no, I'll just have to discard. It's not particularly exciting. Let's go ahead and play out the Oath of Kaya. And we'll just hold up this final payment. We can sacrifice our Cavalier of Dawn and get back Elspeth Conquers Death if the opponent gives us something worth killing. I don't want to discard to hand size when I play my Blessing. I want to get to keep and use all my cards. I am greedy like this. Bone Crusher? You're not that scary. Land? Cool. Send the 5/7. So thick. Do I have to do it every time? Yeah, Blessing. Grace? She died years ago. I don't remember exactly the rest of it. Okay, another Bone Crusher Giant. The opponent is on the face train. They are trying to wipe me out. Okay. We've got a Midnight Reaper. That can get them some cards. We've got another Bone Crusher Giant. So how do I want to do this? I think I can sacrifice the Blessing, take out the Reaper. I could also exile it, and then they don't even get 1 card from the exchange. I guess that's fine. I'll also have the mana left over to use final payment. I just have to pay 1 life. My god, the auto tapper loves castles. Let's see, these can double block. Let's see if the opponent wants to do it. Think they're about to tilt. You do have to pay 2 life, but when we sacrifice the Treacherous Blessing, we don't have to pay another life there. And yeah, then the opponent's down to nothing. We'll keep 7. Faramir. Faramir, no! Is there still a captain who would do his king's will? Or whatever the line is. Lord of the Rings is officially retro. Can you guys believe it? The Peter Jackson films, of course. Aw, not a mono red gamer. And saying hello. Epic. Don't get that every day. 2 final payments, 2 Oath of Kayas. We can kill a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Unfortunately, that's all we can do. The opponent can get ahead of us somehow with a Planeswalker or just something that generates value, an enchantment. We could be in trouble. Alright, this card. He's yelling again. Who gets to die? I'm actually more worried about the Knight of the Ebon Legion than anything else. All right, Mono Black Devotion. Keep their board clean, and the game is pretty easy. It's a big boy. The big boy. Tempting to use a Doom Foretold here. The problem with that, well, right now the Oath of Kaya doesn't do any good, so it's that or Final Payment. I actually think we can go for this. There isn't a lot of downside. We take a pretty big hit, but if the Doom Foretold were to go off against us, where we run out of things to sacrifice to it, we can always pitch it to Final Payment to kill their last thing. And if the opponent plays more creatures into it, we have Oath of Kayas. We can Final Payment, say away the spawn if we don't want to take that much damage. But we can take a few bumps because we have so much gain. Ow. It's a good question. Opponent, are you going to play anything out there and try to protect this spawn of mayhem? Or are you going to let me basically have a time walk where you don't do anything for a turn? And they go with the Eidolon. And another spawn. Okay. Okay, buddy. I see what you're doing here. Nice draw. So we go like this. Tag this. 3 more life. Say go. We could also pitch our Oath of Kaya to kill a spawn and then lose our Doom Foretold later, but I don't think so. We'll just hold up this Final Payment. They can't have like 2 creatures every turn for the rest of the game for very long. Like, they can't do that again, you know what I mean? They can't Hateful Eidolon spawn of mayhem every turn to keep hitting us for 4. We could just pay 5 life and kill it. Yeah. Let's drag this out. Let's drag out this suffering. All right, they're still trying. They're trying to keep up with Doom. It's usually not a winning move. And they're going to deadweight their own Temoret because they want to sacrifice the deadweight. Cool. That's not going to work out. We'll just keep Oath of Kaya-ing you until you die. But hey, we drew this. We can play this and go get another Plains. That's good. Pew! Yeah, nice. I know. 3 Oath of Kayas. I had quite the full house. 3 Oath of Kaya, 2 Final Payment. Your creatures were dead. They were destined. They were destined for the underworld from the start. Now what do? Do you play nothing? End up discarding, cracking the Doom Foretold. You do have a Castle Loch Twain you can use, so it's not like you do absolutely nothing. Oh, Faramir. Femia. Femia will make a zombie. Okay. The zombie can't be sacrificed. Let's give up the Oath. This will make a wall. Another one of these is nice. Now, when we pass it over, the opponent's Ephemia is going to go. They can't sacrifice a token. And the zombie's well covered by the wall. And now we can start making 1/1s. Next turn, we can sacrifice the Birth of Meltis before it gains 2 life, as that's a pretty low impact effect. And now the opponent's passing the turn. They've given up on hanging with Doom Foretold. Bonus wall. Care to draw? Yep. Pay 3 life for a card. Doom Foretold. You will now discard. I will draw. Drain and gain. Make a 2/2. Love the little Eidolon black deck. I found this deck a lot more fun than I ever expected that I would. And people have they keep leaving me comments on that video, even weeks after I made it, saying that they got to platinum with the deck. And I'm like, wow, that's really sweet. Someone said they got to diamond with the deck. was like, mate, I did title the video, this deck is a lot better than it deserves to be, or something to that effect. Like, better than you think it is. And it has proven me, like, it really has held up. So I could final payment, sacrifice this to kill Spawn. I'd rather, I mean, actually I don't have anything in the graveyard yet for Elspeth Conquers Death, do I? Yeah, these aren't getting tremendously better. All the value. Agonizing Remorse. They have one card. I don't think it's a land, or they would have played it. It must be a removal spell of some kind. Or it's another Ephemia. Cool. I'll take that. Not in a hurry to remove this zombie. Eventually it will trade off with this knight, and then my 1/1s can start attacking. Land to the bottom. End turn. Well, Faramir, you and your father will have to burn like the kings of old. He's not dead! Nah. We're just gonna light him and ourselves on fire. He's not dead! Only Gandalf can help me convince him that he's not dead. Anybody else find that specific thing in Lord of the Rings absolutely insane? Oh, we're just going to burn alive now. He's not dead. Everybody's okay with this. Absolutely everyone is okay with this. Mogi's Favor has escape, can keep wiping out these tokens. That's okay. We can take our time. Castle draw. Yep. Gonna need to find some good stuff. Gonna need some good stuff. We did grind to a halt a bit, but we haven't drawn Treacherous Blessing. That's part of it. But we're in a great position. All right, the castle's gonna keep the cards flowing. Down to 6, just 6 little life points. Dead weight. Token down. Here's another 1/1, just slowly grinding out the win, exactly the way that Black-White Doom likes to do. Sweet. Doom Foretold Cité. Not enough mana to cast both. But one should be more, like this is plenty of pressure. What's that last card? Oh, they like it enough to draw with Castle in response, but that means they die, right? Yeah, they die. They die to the trigger. It's going to drain for 2 now. And game. I'll try this hand. It has Treacherous Blessing. We're on the draw. We'll hit a land. It'll be great. You're all gonna love it. We'll throw a party when we do it. Temple of Enlightenment always gives me that sinking feeling that I'm not the one playing control. And then immediately draw Kaya's Wrath. Okay. Throw a Spiral deck. Let's get him. Let's get him. Tranquil Cove. That mana base, though. Frilled Mystic. That's a problem. But honestly, we should take this. You should take the card advantage. We're not going to put them under pressure. Eventually, this reload is too powerful. Fun. Everybody's favorite. You should plus. You have a Frilled Mystic. Eventually you counter something, then get the Mystic back. It's so good. Yep. Okay. Well, Agonizing Remorse can at least get a Mystic out of the way, I think. Huh. Yeah, I would never do that. But, oh wait, they don't have double green. That's what's going on here. That's what's going on. They can't play the Mystic yet. I understand now. Well, let's go for it. Before they can. Greedy mana. Greedy, greedy, greedy. Do I keep the land? Yeah, because next turn we can Remorse and Treacherous Blessing. Okay, Borrower time. They're going to try to pressure me. That's scary. Maybe I'm just supposed to go for a Doom Foretold then. Yeah, Blessing probably has to come later. Okay, resolved. Cool. Down with the Oath of Kaya. Let's try the Remorse. Planar Cleansing and Time Wipe? Freaky. I'll play around that, though. Opponent's got a deck, that's for sure. I don't know what it's cooking on. Like, what is it going for? Some kind of crazy band control. Alright, they have to discard. A little drain, a little draw. They discard the Cleansing, keep the Time Wipe. Kind of surprising. Go for you. Still resolving easy peasy. All their counterspells are Frilled Mystics. That's a pretty unique take on the format. Let's get my hand a little lower before we double Blessing, though, I think. Unless, I mean, do we do this now? Just to keep the pressure on them? Yeah. Alright, discard a card. We have an Elspeth Conquers Death. We could put something in the yard, but I don't know if I'm actually going to play it. We already have some enchantments there for the Cav. So we'll just drop off the Godless Shrine. I never want to pay 2 life for my land now. I don't know what I'm doing with Kaya's Wrath, but it's probably something. We might even need to gain life at some point. Another Elspeth Conquers Death. Hit him. May I has Cavalier of Dawn. My opponent has a Time Wipe, so I'm going to blow up one of my Blessings. That way, if they destroy everything, I get to draw 3. And I'm going to shoot your face. I'm just going to keep playing my cards out. And here it comes. I will take the draw 3. Spiral into what? Nothing yet. Alright, so first up, Elspeth Conquers Death can get ticking so that we get back a Cavalier. And then we'll draw 3. Another Cavalier. Looking good. Loop getting established. Whoa! And we're back to a game. Just like that, we're back to a game. Final payment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can play an Elspeth Conquers Death and a Cavalier. I think that's better than playing the Agonizing Remorse. The opponent won't want to play another big draw effect when they'd have to discard most of it. And we have a board that does demand a little bit of a response. And it's also a variety of permanents. The opponent could have Planar Cleansing, but at least with Planar Cleansing we get back a Treacherous Blessing. Keep the circle of life moving. Well, what have you got? Oh, the Careful Taps. Not the Careful Taps. Is that Nissa? Nope, not green. They're not tapping for green. They do have to pay 2 more for a cleansing. Okay, Dream Trawler. Gasp. Alright. Cool. Definitely a +1/+1 counter. Then what are we doing? If they played that, they don't have a blow up everything, do they? If I target it, it goes away and they get a 3/3. Or they discard a card and they get nothing. Alright. What you gonna do? There's a few ways to play this. The biggest thing is I want another Cavalier in the graveyard by the time this goes off. So for me, that means final payment to sacrifice it. All right, which is something we want to do on their upkeep before they see another card. Let's start with Agonizing Remorse here. Make sure they don't have a counterspell for the final payment. I wish I could have done that before the Elspeth Conqueror's Death went off, but we don't get that kind of choice. They do have an Absorb. And a Teferi. But definitely need to nab that Absorb. That Time Wipe could be a problem too. Nope, not what I meant to do. There we go. I always fetch swamps with my Fabled Passage because I have so many ways to fetch planes out of the deck with the births. So we're attacking for 4. Then on the opponent's upkeep, we're sacrificing one of the Cavs. What are we getting back? The Blessing probably, but Doom Foretold could do the job. If the opponent... Well, they're going to play their Teferi. That is a lock. So Doom Foretold doesn't do the job on its own. Doom Foretold's pretty darn good, and we could Doom Foretold and Kaya's Wrath next turn. Down to 7. Shoot it again. Pick this. Get back a Doom Foretold. Does the opponent save the Dream Trawler? They have 3 real spells. But they're going to get ground out. They really are just going to get ground out of the game, though. If they... I think that they just get ground out of the game by Cavalier of Dawn if they just stick to those 3 spells. I think they need the Dream Trawler. Nope. They let it die. Wow. What can they do about this? The Cavalier of Dawn cycles in full effect. Whoa! They drew another Gadwick. Gee, bus. That is... It's probably as good as it gets. It's probably as good as it gets. They left mana up, but you'd think it was Absorb mana, but it's not. They didn't leave up Absorb mana. Alright, what do we target? Doom Foretold's going to get this. Targeting the Blessing, Doom Foretold's going to get that. We'll target the Oath of Kaya. Although they have board wipes, this isn't the best play. I just don't think there's anything to be gained targeting Gadwick when I'm going to kill it anyway. We do need these to die and not exile. That's my biggest fear now, is that they're going to get exiled somehow. Okay. Weird timing. So this is going to die. Well, they can flash in Borrower. I guess if they can flash in Borrower, I should take Gadwick out now. Can't afford to let that get time wiped. Borrower is pretty strong against Doom Foretold. Down to 5. If they blow this up, I could just get back Doom Foretold, Oath of Kaya, and try to burn them out. Here it comes. So I know 2 of their 3 cards. I feel like I should go for it. There's Oath of Kaya, and there's Oath of Kaya. What now? Maybe they do have Absorb. Maybe. Hydroid Crisis. Up to 7. Okay then. Elspeth's Son's Nemesis. Alright. I'll conquer death again. We will... what? Bolt ya, bolt ya. There's a Shatter the Sky. Make the humans. Another close game, huh? So the sooner we get back the Cav, the sooner we can Kaya's Wrath our own Cav and get back another Oath of Kaya and try to burn the opponent out. It's craziness. The opponent can't attack... They can't attack Elspeth because of the Oath. They have to go face, and they do. So are they going to do Wrath to draw a card? They can Shatter the Sky and draw a card themselves, and they do. Cover your ears. Can they weasel out of it? Like classic control decks seem to do. Here's Teferi. Here's a plus. Another Oath of Kaya. They do have Absorb mana open. Let's go for it. Black-white burn deck. Black-white burn.